generalization of nature is life, both living and non-living, as well as naturally occurring and man-made or artificial, so that we can say all of it is a part of nature or makes up a nature. The same can be said for existence. Nature can be described as an environment of existence, and such an environment can vary or have noticeable differences, but there are some things about such an environment that do not vary. Fundamentally, the environment of existence is constant. For example, it doesn't matter how many versions or variations there are of something when the point is to recognize the ability to have a variation in the first place. Meaning, what remains constant is the possibility of having differences or variations. Some of us reflect on these variations as proof there is such massive complexity that we will never really know what is going on or what an accurate environment of existence really is, while others, like myself, see the ability or possibility to have variation or difference as still coming from one overall nature. From here, I usually support that all things are related, no matter how unique or isolated they may seem. It's like stepping back to see the bigger picture, where we ask ourselves what must be the case, no matter what, in order to have whatever it is that we experience and observe. For example, it doesn't matter if there are a million different platonic shapes, when the emphasis is on the ability or possibility to have any kind of shape in the first place. When we see the bigger picture this way, we don't get fooled by such things as variations and differences and the details of distinction. Even though such details are very informative, they do not guarantee a non-relation. In fact, if we had to start our understanding with an assumption, then the most accurate beginning to our journey would be to describe all things as having a common relation. Even for relative categorization, describing a common relation because X amount of things are in our field of vision or frame of reference still supports our beginning assumption. For example, all things share a common relation because we experience them. So what about those things we do not experience? That's a trick question, because do we mean things we do not experience now but have experienced before, or do we mean things we have never experienced and have no idea about now? If it is a case of things we have never experienced and have no idea about now, well, that's very similar to fantasy or some tongue twister for defining the value of nothing. If we have never experienced something and have no idea about it, then we can know at least two fundamental values. One, we can define it as an unknown with the understanding that it exists, even though we have no idea what it is, which is what we traditionally do since we understand that there are plenty of things that have been around for a long time, even though we have only confirmed them recently. Or two, we can define it as not existing, and until proven or confirmed otherwise, we will not represent it as something or anything, even in the sense of being an unknown, which is very close to an actual definition of the term nothing. Anything other than these two aspects means we are more about the case where we may not be experiencing something now, but we have experienced it earlier, or we have knowledge of it or confirmed that it is something that can be experienced. And this kind of reasoning and understanding brings us right to the doorstep of how we can identify the overall nature and common factor in all things. When we look at our environment, we are seeing a process that is constant, although looking at human nature in particular can be tricky, but it doesn't take us long to recognize the vital needs that influence our existence and behavior, such as the need to eat. To simplify this, I describe that when something exists, it is in a dynamic relationship of stabilization. The reason I describe this is because that which exists can vary, and so may the way it stabilizes, such as its needs, but at the same time, there are some constants which cannot be ignored, such as the ability for something to exist in the first place, regardless of what it is and what it may need. This confirms that there's more to the process of life than just an exclusive result from an exclusive situation. Although the difference between Earth and Jupiter define variation, the fact that there are any planets at all defines a constant that provides the possibility for such variation. Therefore, when we look at our very own environment, we are also looking at the way existence behaves as a constant, regardless of variation. Our goal then becomes how to convert the specifics so that we reveal the blueprint. I have found that one of our greatest assets in achieving this goal is the study of nature and environment. What we see in nature is coded by a constant of existence. All my videos have always been about improving our ability to convert information.